Hello guys and welcome to another MyDMX 2.0 tutorial. Today we're looking at a really cool feature in the software called the Scene Builder. Now in the last tutorial I showed you how you can control lights with the virtual faders, and that's a great way to start controlling the attributes of your fixtures. However, it can be a little bit more difficult when you've got loads and loads of lighting fixtures to control, and maybe you want to start controlling groups of fixtures. Well, the Scene Builder is a great way to take control of your lights. Let's take a look. So to start with, we're going to open up a new scene, and then we're going to go up to the Scene Builder, which is this little icon here. Press that and a new window will open. Let's make it full screen here. And you can see it's split up into two sections. On the left-hand side of the screen, we have a visual representation of all of the different lighting fixtures in the rig, and on the right-hand side is where we can actually control the lights. So you can see here we've got lots of different squares, and each one of these squares represents one of the lighting fixtures in the rig behind me. Now this grid here allows you to lay out these icons any way you like. You can click and drag and move all the different fixtures around and basically position them any way you like. Now my personal preference is to create a visual representation of the lighting rig, so you can easily grab, say, the left Inno Spot Pro or the right Inno Pocket Scan just by looking at the visual representation in the software. But that's just my personal preference. You can set it up any way you like by doing different groups of fixtures by type or by position. It's really customizable to how you want to control your lights. So when it comes to positioning the fixtures how you want them, you've got a few tools in the software to help you with that. So to position lights, you can just click and drag them or select multiple lights, move them around, make them wider, make them narrower, change their positions. Now first thing you'll notice is that some of these fixtures are just one square, and some of them, for example here, are three squares. If we hover over this here, we can see that's one of my Mega Par Profiles, which is just a single segment of LEDs. Whereas here, these three joined segments are my Mega Bars. Now the actual fixtures of the Mega Bars inside the DMX profile are split up so you can control three different segments of the LEDs. So while they may be one fixture, there's actually kind of three lights there you can control for the three different segments. So that's why you get three different boxes on the screen, and that becomes really cool when it gets to the effects engine. So let me go ahead and grab some more lights. Let's grab some more LED par cans and drag them down and select them. Now up at the top here we have some tools. First of all, we have the Move in Square matrix, which basically brings them all into a grid, and by using the drop down here you can bring up a window to create a custom matrix with a custom number of rows. Let's go with 3 rows, and it will just create a grid for you with 3 rows. You can also use the circle tool here to make a circle, move into a horizontal line, or move into a vertical line. So there are some cool tools in the software to allow you to start building your custom layout. So this is what I've come up with, and this is my personal choice for how I lay out my Scene Builder, and it's a visual representation of my lighting rig. However, it's split up. At the top here we have all of the fixtures that have a color wheel in them, and then along the bottom here we have all of the fixtures that can color mix with RGB or RGBA LEDs. And there's a very good reason for that, and that will become more clear when we get to the effects engine in a future video. So now let's actually start controlling some lights here. First of all though, I want to go up back into the top corner here and press this button, which is Enable Move Fixtures. So now I'm no longer able to move the fixtures around, I can only drag and select them. So over on the right here we have a window that allows us to control all the different attributes of our lighting fixtures. Under the Presets tab here, we've got a whole load more tabs which are broken down by fixture type. Currently we're in the All tab, which allows us to control all of the fixtures in the rig. However, we can scroll down here, we've got the Inno Spot Pro, the Inno Pocket Spot Twins, my Mega Bars, and you'll see here it's bringing up the attributes that apply to that particular fixture, and at the same time we'll select all of that fixture type in your rig. So let's go ahead and turn on the Inno Spot Pros. So to select the lights, I can either drag over them and then also use the Command key here to select multiple fixtures, or just click on the lights like so. And now I can start controlling them. Now before, with the virtual faders, to turn on the Inno Spot Pros, I'd have to go and find the dimmer fader for each fixture, put that up, then go find the shutter fader for each fixture and put that up as well. There is a simpler way to do that in the Scene Builder, and that's with this little button up here called Beam On. Press it and the fixtures will immediately start outputting light, and it'll automatically put up both of those faders for you. So now we can go ahead here to our pan and tilt grid. Let's tilt the fixtures down a little bit. We can go and add a color. We can go and add a gobo. It's very quick and easy to start controlling your lights. I can go and adjust the focus here, make sure I've got a nice sharp gobo on my fixtures. And let's add the prism in by pressing the prism button here. And there we go. You can see how easy and quick it is to grab your different lights and change their attributes. Now, if I wanted to go ahead and grab all of my LED fixtures running across the top of my truss, if I go and click and drag over them, nothing's going to happen. And the reason is I'm currently in the Inno Spot Pro tab. So if I wanted to select these lights, I'd either have to go into the tab that applies for that particular lighting fixture. However, in this case here, I've got Mega Bars and Mega Go Pars. So there's different types of lights we want to control at once. So for that, we're going to go up to the All tab. And this allows us to select any of the lighting fixtures, no matter what type. So I'm going to go ahead and drag across those. Again, use our Beam On button up here to turn on the lights. And then I can go ahead and use the color wheel here to select a color. So with the Scene Builder, it's really quick and really easy to grab any fixture, no matter what type, and control its attributes. You've also got some other options for the way you select your lighting fixtures. Currently we're in standard rectangle selection mode. However, we can go into lasso mode here, which allows us to draw a custom path of the fixtures we want to have selected. And finally, you've got draw, which allows us to just kind of draw over the lights that we want to have selected. So it's really quick and easy to grab your lighting fixtures. So after the selection tools, you can also do some cool things up here with groupings. So let's grab all of my LED lights, beam them on, put them into red, and let me just tilt up the pocket washes a bit so they're out of the camera. There we go. So we've got some tools up here that allow us to do some cool selection tricks. So first of all, we can invert selection. So this will select all the fixtures that currently aren't selected. We've also got options here for odd and even. So if we wanted to put some fixtures in red and put some fixtures in blue, we can use the odd and even tool to quickly create some cool looks. And you've also got options here to invert the index. Now if you look here, when you drag over a selection of fixtures, you'll see some small numbers, and this is your selection order. And if we click the invert selection index button, it'll reverse that selection around. So the final thing we're going to look at inside the Scene Builder is the grouping options here, which allow you to create groups you can quickly recall if you've, say, got a selection of lights that you constantly keep going back to. So let's grab all of those LED fixtures on the top of my truss. Let's grab all of those. And then to create a group, we just press the plus button. And what that's done is group 1 has now been created with that selection. Let's grab the other lights, press plus again, and we've created another group. So now group 1 is all the LED fixtures on top of the truss. Group 2 is all the LED fixtures below my truss. And if I want to remove a group, simply press the minus, and it'll remove that last group. So grouping is a cool way you can easily go ahead and grab different fixture selections. So the last thing I want to talk about in the Scene Builder is your selection order. Now the selection order becomes very important when you start creating effects and using the fan tool, which is another feature I'll talk about in a minute. The selection order is exactly what it sounds like. It's the order your lights have been selected. Now when you use the drag tool like this, you'll get a little number on each fixture which shows their order in the selection. However, you can see here, it doesn't run from left to right. It goes 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 2. Now the reason is when you drag over a selection like that, it's selecting by fixture type of the first fixture. At the end here, we've got 2 Jelly Go Par RGBAs, and then we've got the Mega Bars. So what it's done is it's selected the first type of fixture and then the second type of fixture and applied those numbers to them. If we go along here to the bottom, we'll see a similar thing happen. First of all here, we've got a Mega Par Profile, then a Pocket Wash, more Mega Par Profiles, another Pocket Wash, and another Mega Par Profile. And you can see here the selection order is 1, 5, 6, 2, 3, 7, 8, 4. So what it's done is done the selection order for the fixture type. So Mega Par Profile, Mega Par Profile, Mega Par Profile, Mega Par Profile, and then the Pocket Washes. If you want to change that selection order, you need to do the selection manually using the Command key on Mac or Control key on Windows to go ahead and create your own fixture selection. So why might you want to create a custom fixture selection? Well, that would be for the fan tool. If we go up here in the top right, you'll see a little drop down arrow here, and it gives us the option to fan. Linear fan from start, linear fan from end, linear fan from center, and linear fan from both ends. And this allows you to set 2 different points for an attribute, say a color or a position, and fan between them. So if I go linear fan from start to end here, and I go and left click on my color here, you'll see it's created a big kind of bracket. And what this means is that our lights from our selection 1 to our final selection are fading between those 2 values. So that's just a quick look at the fan tool. It doesn't just work for color, it works for position as well. But it's important to keep in mind that selection order, as that will dictate which fixture is first and which fixture is last, and all the order of the fixtures in between. So if I now go ahead, exit out of the scene builder, you can see here what it's actually been doing in the background is controlling all the virtual faders for our lighting fixtures and positioning them according to what we wanted in the scene builder. And it's all been saved into our new scene. You can go back to the scene we had before, go to our new scene, and it's exactly as we left it. So that's the scene builder. It's one of my favorite features of the software, and it can do a lot more than that, especially when it comes to the effects engine, which we'll come onto in a future video. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments down below, and as always, thanks for watching.